K uvodnim besedam se strani predstavništva Svetovne zdravstvene organizacije v Sloveniji vabim dr. Darino Sedlakova.
Hvala lepa. Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Madam State Secretary, Mr. Director of Public Health Institute, sorry, I was looking for you where you are, dear chairs, ladies and gentlemen, of course, very welcome to all of you. Thank you very much for inviting WHO country office, but also regional office represented by Dr. Manfred Huber to this very important conference, which is really like a starting kickoff meeting in Slovenia of the 3-year project. You will be talking a lot about frailty, so let me please spend a few words on WHO major issues that we, in this respect, would like to promote and what's the major part of our work. Let me start by saying that the population of the European region is projected to increase only slightly by 2020 from less than 9,100,000 people to 910 million people. But then it will return back in 2050 to its original figure. So that's not very promising future regarding the number of people. On the other hand, the number of working age people is expected to decline steadily and the number of older people to increase, leading to an increase in the old age dependency ratio. In particular, the number of people aged 55 plus is projected to rise from 14 million to 19 million by 2020 and to 40 million by 2050. So this brings us really to understanding why there is so much interest in elderly, which is becoming really quite substantial proportion of the population. There was a first world report on aging issued by WHO, for sure you know about it, and it called for urgent, comprehensive public health action to address population aging. It summarizes current evidence, redresses common misconceptions and assumptions, and outlines a framework of action to foster healthy aging worldwide. Key messages of the report were also reflected in the follow-up European Ministerial Conference on the life course approach, Start Early, to minimize functional disability. It is never too late to maintain peak health by preventing and delaying the onset of non-communicable diseases and all chronic conditions. To minimize the loss by ensuring supportive environments, effectively managing chronic conditions, and developing systems of care is also completing the message. So I think it goes very well in line of the project, which really strives to work on preventing and promotion to delay the onset of all chronic conditions in the elderly, including the frailty syndromes or frailty diagnosis. Actions to promote healthy aging go beyond the elimination of disease to the promotion of health throughout the life course and support for continued functioning into old age. Health in the context of healthy aging refers to an individual's capacity to do the things that are important to her or him, and healthy aging is the process of developing and maintaining functional ability, enabling well-being of older people. This functional ability of a person, particularly after the onset of a disease, depends on supportive environments and effective management of chronic conditions, mostly non-communicable disease, which are usually multifold in patients, as Madam Secretary also emphasized in her speech. Among the health issues that European citizens are concerned about is thus that the disabilities are associated with aging. This concern has motivated not only national governments but also international organizations like WHO, but also European Commission and others, to address those issues. And mostly they focus on frailty, improving screening, diagnosis, prevention, treatment, as well as the reform of health systems that should match the needs of elderly. However, while aging has long been cited as a cost driver, evidence suggests that it exerts far less pressure on costs than, for example, technological change in medicine. Studies suggest that aging per se accounts for less than 10% of growth of health costs, and that is why we have also arguments for economists and financial people in the country that it's not really a cost, but it's worth investing to take care of elderly in its whole variety of actions. I think there has been a lot to define what really frailty is, and I know the project also has one of that ambition. There are, of course, many definitions already existing. I just took one which I think covers quite holistically the issue that frailty is a geriatric syndrome that has been defined as a clinically recognized state of increased vulnerability to endogenous and exogenous stressors that expose an individual to a higher risk of negative health-related outcomes. As an age-related decline in the body's physical and psychological reserves, frailty does not need to be directly associated with a disease or disability, although frailty can mask serious underlying disease and increase the risk for further functional decline and disability. That makes the frailty a very complicated and very complex issue, and we really should see the person in a holistic way, that it's not an isolated issue that the person suffers from, but really has a large variety of accompanying features. So prevention of frailty has been recognized as an emerging public health priority, also in recent WHO strategies and action plans, both on European and global level. Many European countries have included preventive interventions in their national action plans and gathered experience with their implementation. Interventions that target community-dwelling older people in the following policy domains include fall prevention, physical activity, nutrition, and of course building capacities for geriatric health services and caring for the people, both in institutions and at home. The prevalence of frailty in older people has been estimated to be around 10 to 20%, and there is growing evidence that preventive action is possible to mitigate the links between the frailty and adverse health outcomes. WHO, as I said, has produced several documents, strategies, action plans that have been taken over by many countries, including Slovenia, who also has a national plan or strategy to deal with elderly. I will just mention a few recent ones. WHO guidelines on integrated care for older people that proposes evidence-based recommendation for healthcare professionals to prevent, slow down, or reverse decline in the capacities of older people. Then there is, of course, the strategy and action plan for healthy aging in Europe for years 2012 to 2020 that identifies effective intervention and good practices to address declining physical and mental capacities of elderly. It calls for healthy aging over the life course, and that's very correct because, to be honest, on the day when we are born, we start to get older and older and older. That means investing in health in the older age means to start really healthy lifestyle from the very first day of our existence. Of course, it encompasses also supportive environments, people-centered health and long-term care systems that fit aging populations, and investing also in research and evidence. To conclude, ladies and gentlemen, promoting active aging is a lifelong process that responds to changes in age structure of the society and presents a great challenge for policymakers, for all relevant stakeholders that should be always invited to spend the word, have their voice, and contribute to drafting the new policies, drafting the new strategies, and then also be committed to their implementation. Changes are needed in approaches, policies, practices at all levels, in all sectors, in order to fulfill the potential of growing old in 21st century. The concept of social protection and social care provision must be supplemented by activation, involvement, and participation of older people in the social life, meaning they should be also contributing to how the services, be it in health care, be it in social sector, should be tailored to their needs. The slogan, "Leave no one behind," in case of elderly, can be amended, "Leave no one alone." Thank you very much, and I wish you a nice day.